thought.
Welcome everyone to Solomon's Crown. So we're back at it again, and with your boy Pop and your boy Will over here, and we're just gonna get straight into it. So today we're gonna talk about the issues with chasing or prioritizing. Can't speak today. Women,
Jamaican in you.
yeah, prioritizing women over your purpose, and this is more for the men than anything else, because Will can agree that in these last couple of years, we've seen a lot of celebrities, especially Black male celebrities, catch a lot of L's, like big L's, in recent years. So just off the top of my head, we got PJ Washington. We did a video on him. Check that out. There's Dr. Dre. He had like a big divorce, and I think at one point his wife wanted like a couple million per month or some craziness like that. And but she's still getting a whole lot of money from him. We got Kanye West. You know, we all know
Hardest
that issue.
L of this year, I think.
Yeah, the biggest L.
Well,
I personally want to say biggest L.
I mean, low key, he's not like paying her like that. I mean, he probably pays some type of child support, but still, like,
yeah,
I mean, he's there for his kids.
He's there for his kids. So
I mean, it's a L because he wants the relationship to work and she doesn't.
Yeah,
but I think Kanye will be fine, to be honest.
And there's also Anthony Anderson, much, I guess, not as big as Kanye or whatever, but Anthony Anderson, you probably known him from a couple of small shows. His biggest work yet has been Blackish, like that guy from Blackish.
Oh yeah,
he was like, back in the day, he was kind of big, but he lost a lot of weight. And but either way, not to get off on a tangent, his ex-wife, or soon to be ex-wife, he got divorced from her twice. This is the second time he's getting divorced from the same woman, dude.
Right.
From the same woman. And then now we have the biggest L, or the continuous L, you know, Will Smith. I mean, there's probably why he has two L's in his name.
Bro,
Will.
What you mean? He was defending his wife, bro. Like,
I love him. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Don't even go there, bro.
What you mean? Did you not see the look on her face? That was look of discontent. Like, he had to stand up. Besides,
he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that. He just talking shit.
I do believe that. What you mean? Like, I mean,
defend it.
Besides all the ways that she's been treating him, I mean, low key, that whole situation is just, I don't know, bro. It's like the Twilight Zone over there.
So before Will goes in on it, I'm going to speak a little bit on my piece. So, you know, and watch out for this documentary that I'm going to put on this channel that I'm going to make on, to kind of like visualize, you know, because maybe some people, that might attract some people as opposed to a podcast setting. But either way, so growing up, you know, I've always heard from my elders, like, you know, focus on school, you know, don't worry about females will come. But, you know, as a young dude growing up, like, you know, the hormones start kicking in.
Now might be a really good time for you to get horny.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always horny.
And you're trying to be cool with your peers, and you see all these girls in, like, you know, middle school, high school, and you're trying to get, you know, some viscous innards, as some would say. But
wow,
I mean, it's the truth. But you know, I think a lot of dudes growing up, we get caught up in the chase of girls as opposed to focusing on becoming the best versions of ourselves. And this is evident in like a lot of these situations that we see, because, for instance, Dr. Dre, his wife, or his ex-wife, he took his wife from another married dude at the time. You got Kanye West. You know, Kim had like what, 2 or 3 failed marriages at that point.
Yeah. This is,
and you know, there's the infamous, sex tape that she had, kind of a red flag to me, but hey, that's his life. PJ Washington,
bro,
man, like
what do you
again,
mean
like
she loved him, bro? Like
that
she loved
was
him,
don't listen to him. He's trolling,
bro.
but
She loved
he
him.
took a L. He took a L from her, and we got Anthony Anderson, getting divorced twice, and it's like it speaks to me to where, one, if these dudes actually made the money or didn't make the money that they made at that point in time, would those women even be interested in them? And two, it's like, even in my life, going through the military, studying, getting more up in the world, I guess, getting my quote unquote local shit together. Like, I've seen a lot of more, female eyes looking at me, like, you attract more female attention because they kind of look at it as like, oh, like, damn, he has his shit together. Like, yo, what's going on with him? Like, he's making moves. And I feel like when you attract women that way, you're more likely to find, or at least you're more likely to find a sample group of women that you can vet properly to see what they're about. Because women who see dudes that are on their purpose, that are, high value, quote unquote, more often than not, they'll try their best to keep that dude, to get that dude and to keep that dude, as opposed to a dude who's actively chasing after a chick. More often than not, you're not the first choice of that chick. More often than not, you are, and you come from a position of want, where it's like, oh, this dude that has money and whatever is chasing after me. I'ma just play the field, and whenever I don't have any options, I'll choose him for the safe bet. And I think that's the case with Will, because if I'm not correct, when did Tupac die? In 1993?
Yeah, I think so.
So Tupac died in 1993. Guess the year that Will and Jada met. 1994.
1990. Yep, October 31st, 1993.
Mm-hmm. So and then Will met her like a year or so later. And if you look at it now, to the point where she's writing love letters to Tupac, even though he's been dead for like 30 years now.
Allegedly.
Even to the point, yeah, allegedly, even to the point where Willow, who wasn't even born when Tupac was alive, is writing love letters to Tupac. Like, that's really like strange, just to put it mildly. That's really strange. So obviously, Will isn't the second choice, or isn't the first choice of Jada. And Will is a multimillionaire. He's good looking. He has all this clout. Like, everyone around the world knows him. He's like one of the most popular, famous actors ever. But yet he's still treated like garbage from what we see.
But that's the thing, is like, I mean, even though he's on his purpose, like, that doesn't matter, bro. At the end of the day, I mean, at the end of the day, bruh.
At the end of the day, what? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know what he could have done to keep her, because, like, low key, like, I mean, all right, if we go back into like what you were saying about as far as like chase your purpose, don't chase the woman, like, he was already on his purpose, but he was also chasing Jada, because like everything that you see about Will and Jada is most of the time like him praising her, this and that. And who did she go after? I mean, Tupac literally probably didn't treat her nearly as good.
No.
Maybe he was just like, oh yeah, I like I'm fucking with you like that, but like I don't think he was like into anything serious past that. Maybe he told her something different. Maybe, but that's another thing too, is like, if you look at it like this, like Tupac's goals and ambitions were like a lot higher than Will Smith's. Yeah, like greater. Yeah. Like I sent you that video with his interview, which we'll get into that, because I thought that was a very interesting topic. But like what he wanted to do, I mean, he low-key wanted to be like the next Malcolm X, Martin Luther King of our generation. And I mean, it was taken from him all too soon. But that compared to like, okay, Will, like, what do you want to do? Like, Will Smith, what do you want to do? It's like, oh, I want to be the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Cool. Like, okay, that's dope. But like, what are you going to do for the culture? What are you going to do for
Mm-hmm.
like Black America? What are you going to do for like and the thing about Tupac is like, he wasn't even talking about just Black America. He was talking about poor
people.
People, poor people in general, people who don't want to be put into the system, people who don't want to be put into like this mold of like, yo, you're poor, so you're always going to be poor. And like, you have to listen to what the government has to say no matter what, because they're right and you're wrong and they know what's best for you and things like that. And it was like a little bit like anarchy, but like truthfully, we've seen what's happened so far with everybody just getting whatever they want. Like, it's just been like chaotic. So I mean, truthfully, going back to like chasing your purpose, I seen a dude yesterday, low key, was like in an environment that he should have not been in, reading on his A&P and stuff like that. So like his A&P is like his aerospace propulsion degree, I guess. What is A&P?
Airframe and power plant.
Yeah,
airframe and power plant. That's what it means.
So pretty much an airplane mechanic who can do different jobs. You get a certification, which is low key kind of easy. It's like $4,800 like to go do the class and everything like that. And you're like vetted and you can like legit go work for Delta or even private sectors like Sierra Nevada, stuff like that. I'm on my grind to get mines. So at some point I will, probably once I get to New Mexico, just to have as a backup, because like low key, a lot of these jobs pay easily like $120,000. And like to get your A&P, you can get your A&P in like 6 months and just be different. So
A&P is big in the aerospace field, but
yeah. So that's the thing is like, even though you're on your purpose, at some point you're going to want to find a mate, and your mate is supposed to essentially elevate you past what you thought your expectations were. Because like, okay, getting an A&P, making $120,000, cool. Like you did that by yourself. Then you have a mate that comes in and they're like, oh, well, they either are above you at the same level as you or below you. And the goal is to elevate at the same time, get them to a point where they can like take care of like they make $75,000 a year. They can take care of like the house, the food, like car payments, stuff like that. And then you can start going into like investing in real estate, investing in stocks, bonds, crypto, all types of stuff, like start a business. And then that grows and grows and grows and grows. But like a lot of dudes now are just chasing females, bro. And it's like, okay, but what does that do for you at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, chasing a female is just going to get you in a different headspace than what you need to be honest. And for longevity purposes, it's kind of horrible, because time is the most valuable thing that we have, really the most valuable thing that we have. So you can't get that back at all. We talk about it all the time. Is like we were in Okinawa together at one point, but that's like almost 6 years now. So we were in Okinawa, Japan, and we were just like, we didn't even think about doing this podcast or starting a clothing line or anything. We were just kind of just playing Magic the Gathering all the time, just chilling. But the thing is like, there's a lot of good money in Magic the Gathering, especially if you're good at it. You can do a lot of content creation for Magic the Gathering online. And yeah, I mean, if we would have been thinking like this back then, like I think we would be so much further ahead. Yeah. But it's never too late to really do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, if you want to be a normal dude, just a normal Joe Schmo, like it's gonna be hard now. It's hard to be a regular dude not doing anything.
Yeah. It's not. You got to be above average to be average now in this world. I mean, especially with this whole war in Ukraine thing, like gas is going up, and then there's rumors of food shortages going up because people can't get fertilizer and yada yada yada. But that's another talk.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things of why being on your purpose, more so in the Western society than in other societies, because in other societies where they have arranged marriages, a lot of the times the females are already vetted, the males are already vetted, and that's a key thing, vetting your partner, right? So, you know, as a male, when you're on your purpose, you develop that discipline, you develop that vision, you develop that wisdom that you get from your mentors, from reading, from experience, all those things that culminate into your success. And at that point, more often than not, you should be able to choose a woman that is on your program or that you can work together with to further your vision, you know, for your legacy that you're going to leave behind for your children. But if you're constantly at that age, you know, where you're supposed to be working on your purpose, if you're constantly doing it for, oh, I need to do this so I can get more chicks, or I need to, you know, talk to this chick, or I need to go to this club every day so I can pick up a new chick, you're going to end up with a bad time, because you're going to end up wasting your time, wasting your money. And, you know, okay, let's say you're working out, you're doing all this stuff, you're trying to be physically the best male you could be to attract the chicks, right? So you have your haircut, you're buff, you have the swag and all this stuff. Females might mess with you, yeah. But they can kind of see, like, oh, is this dude going to be long-term with me? Probably not, because you'll have all your time and energy invested in swag, invested in meaningless stuff that isn't for longevity. So at the end of the day, like, a woman is just going to get tired of you. And they're going to go for the dudes that are actually been in the background, you know, shooting in the gym, studying, building their business, all that good stuff.
And so the thing is, just, before you get into that, is like, okay, so say you're just a regular old average dude, because that seems to be like what the new trending thing is. Not trending, but like, all right, so speaking from a dude who doesn't have everything, who's just like, okay, I don't go to the gym, I'm not that smart, I'm not like, I don't get girls, like, I'm not charismatic, I don't have like a good personality. Let's just say you're just average, below average. All right, let's start at below average. Like, the things that you can do to raise your average level up, even without going to the gym, like starting a business or anything like that, is education, one, or just finding a job that will pay you a decent amount of money. Don't get bills, like stay on the fast track for like long-term goals. So like anybody can grow into like, what is it? Like swans are like very ugly when they're like not fully grown, and then they turn into like these beautiful birds. So it's like, you have to think about it like that, where you can start off being like some dusty old ugly dude, like, and just like grow yourself into somebody who is attractive, not just like in a physical type of way, but like mentally, like high tier type dude. Because it's like, there's a lot of ugly rich dudes out there who get girls, like, period. So it's like, if money, I mean, money is becoming the most important thing out here at this point, because talking to one of my homegirls, she was just like, yo, the females out here now are just more headstrong. They're, I mean, with the feminist movement, it has done a lot of good for women understanding that like they have a lot of power and they can change a lot of things in the world. And women are not really going for like the fuck around, if you want to say, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna just waste my time with this dude and spend 5 years doing nothing, like, period. And it's like, females don't want to do that no more. Like, the generation is changing, because like, I mean, we even saw that study where it's like 1 out of 3 men, or what was it 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3?
No, it's 1 out of 3 men are virgins between the ages of 18 and 24.
Yeah, so it's like, bro, that's low-key kind of wild. But like,
that's true.
I mean, but the thing is like, what do you need to do to like attract women from 18 to 24 years old? Like, you got to have a car, you got to have a job, you got to be working towards a goal. So if you're going to school, like, you just go to school, bro. Like, if you're in a apprenticeship or something like that, just work on the apprenticeship. If you're starting a business, work on the business. Because like, truthfully, after 24, like, the world opens up to so much more. Because if I've been working from 18 to 24, like I did essentially, because when I was younger, I mean, I was 15, 16 when I got my first job. I literally been working for that long, bro. Like, and I got my first job. I was like, all right, cool. The money's nice, this and that. and then I wanted a car. Like, and then I was like, okay, maybe if I pick up a second job in my free time, and then I started working 2 jobs. And then at one point I had 3 jobs because this job was flexible, but I think I worked at the stadium for like 3 days and I made like $470, bro. So it was like 3 12-hour shifts essentially. And that was just like my extra spending money. So for me, from 18 to 24, I was living kind of like Gucci, to be honest. So I didn't have to depend on a lot of people for much, to be honest, besides my mom. Like, she helped me out every once in a while. I mean, I did low-key get a decent amount of money from my grandfather, but like I blew all that money. So that's not even like money that I could talk about. But that goes back into it too, is like, don't be so quick to spend money. Like, spending money at a young age is probably the worst thing that you can do, as far as like not putting your money into investments. If you start investing at 18 and you just wait, because it's really a patience thing. 18 to 24, you're just saving, like, let's just say $200, because most people can save $200. Let's just say that. From 18 to 24, you shouldn't have any bills. If you're working a regular job, you can just every 2 weeks put away $200. By the time you hit 24, like, you can buy a nice car straight off the lot. You could even buy a house at 24 and like start moving into rental properties and things like that. So like, that sounds better, at least to me, and that should sound better to most young men, because at that point at 24, now you can start being like, okay, I got my car, I got my house, I want to travel. And then you get to travel, see the world. And traveling and seeing the world, bro, is some of the best stuff that you can do, especially because like most Americans don't leave America. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, like, America's so amazing, which it is. But like, there's a lot of other amazing places that you can go see in the world. Japan, food, like culture wise, just getting out of your cultural norms, because America is vastly different from any other country that I've been in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like even state to state is just like, it's so drastic changes. It's a little bit like that in Europe, but not like too bad. There's different values that change as you move through the different countries and things like that. But for the most part, it's almost the same. Not like you'd have to experience it to really see the differences, because like Spain and Italy are different than Portugal, and then like Poland is different from Germany, and France is different from England, things like that. But like, for the most part, a lot of the things are somewhat similar, whereas California is vastly different from Florida. And like, Florida is vastly different from New York. Like, and Texas, like, these are like almost like, you're like, am I even still like technically in the United States? Because they're so different that it's like, you almost, it's like you almost like everything culturally, everything like what they eat, all types of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I do know that young dudes definitely, like, to prepare yourself for the coming times, because it's going to be rough. And the more and more I dig into it, the more and more I dig into like why dudes aren't succeeding, why dudes are feeling like, oh man, this is so hard to like find a girl who just loves me and wants to be for me. It's because you need to stop looking. Like, focus on yourself and somebody will find you. That's the real life answer right there. Because it's like, the more you look for things, the biggest thing is you look for somebody and you think that they're good for you, and then you see the potential in what they can become. And the potential that they can become, they may never reach it. So if they never reach the potential, then everything is doomed from the start. And then from there, it just leads into more and more problems. And then it's just like, these young dudes too, is like, bro, stop getting girls pregnant that you're not going to marry. Like, period. Like, I've seen more people get pregnant before marriage than I actually see marriages. And like, even that's going away, because people are like, oh, well, I don't want to be married, this and that. And it's like, you don't want to be married, but you'll have a kid with somebody, and you'll be like in a domestic union or whatever they want to call it nowadays. And
well,
legit, it's like,
I can see why people don't want to get married in a traditional sense, or in traditional sense when it comes on to government oversight. So you could definitely be married. Like, you can have like a verbal, or like, I guess, a religious oversight, but it's the government and what will happen when divorce may happen. That's why, especially dudes, don't want to get married now.
Yeah, I mean, because dudes literally lose more stuff, but that's a whole nother talk that
that's
we
a
can
whole
talk
nother
about,
topic.
because like,
yeah.
But I think that's it for today.
Mm-hmm.
Recap. Stay on your purpose. Focus on yourself, bro. Like it's time to be selfish, to be honest. Like,
you have to be selfish as a man.
Yeah.
Point blank period. And I think that's the issue that a lot of men have, because I don't know, maybe a lot of dudes, they grow up in single parent households, and especially with a mother, and it's kind of like, I don't know what it is, but you kind of have this need to give a lot of the times, because your mom, like, she's out there busting her ass and working to like put food on the table for you, and then you grow up and you're like, man, I gotta give back, I gotta give back, I gotta give back. And you kind of like spill that over to females, because you think that you gotta provide, you gotta give, because you've been given so much from your mom. And I think that's a pitfall trap that a lot of dudes get into, because they think that's like, oh, if I give this chick time and affection and things, then she reciprocate with love. And 9 times out of 10, that's not it, bro. Because the moment you chase after a chick is a moment you lose, because she's truly not in love with you. She may be in love with you, the things that you can bring, but you as a man, as an individual, as a masculine entity, she's more than likely you're not gonna be the first choice for her, period. So that's my 2 cents.
Got much to say on the topic. I mean, I'll get into more details with everything else later, but we'll wrap this one up. And as always, like, follow, subscribe. We'll put together a little end credit thing that's going to be like, yo, make sure you do this. But yeah, we got a lot more talks to talk about. Like, we're getting back on our podcasting for the most part. We've had a lot of delays in the last 3 months. So
understatement of the year. But yeah,
it's like, yo, is it 2023 yet, bro? But when you're on your grind, I mean, it's going to be rough days, to be honest. So as long as you don't give up, that's the biggest thing. We're going to keep pushing for this. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can look back on this video and say, like, dang, remember when we had 61 subscribers?
Yeah.
But all right. Well, until next time, we'll catch y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.